Hi friends, this is Haruka from Planet Education. I hope you're all doing well. Today for my Facebook Live, I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about the UC application because that is top of mind for a lot of students, especially seniors who have, who just started school or are about to start school, etc. So first things first, the deadlines. The UC application has opened officially on August 1st. October 1st is when the FAFSA applications will open. And the window for applying for the UCs is November 1st to November 30th. So that means that you have some time to check out what the application looks like, get familiarized with it, understand all the requirements, and then say download all of those reference materials, and then work on the personal insight questions, things like that, before you finalize everything and press the submit button sometime between November 1st and November 30th. When I work with my students, I always tell them, don't wait till the last minute. Try to get as much of it done now as much as possible. Number two is the best tip about, I'm always looking for tips for my students, and there are lots of tutorials all over the internet, even all over the UC website, which I tell everybody, it is like an ocean. The UC website is comprehensive, but it's like an ocean. It's deep and it is wide. But the best place for admissions tutorials is the UC Santa Barbara admissions website. In fact, if you go onto YouTube, they have a fantastic bunch of tutorials. Even college counselors check those things out. And I recommend it for any student, any parent. Doesn't matter whether, Santa Barbara is your first choice or on your list, etc. If you're interested in the UC application process and you want to understand tutorials, check that out. So just very recently, they loaded 9 new mini videos to get the application started. So the 9 topics include an overview about you, the 9 campuses and the majors that are offered, academic history, test scores, activities and awards, scholarships, personal insight questions, and how to review and submit. So those are the 9 steps. And each of these videos are pretty short, less than 5 minutes. And I think it's a great way to, get an overview of what you're going to get, what you need to do. Number 3, standardized tests. With the coronavirus, there has been so much discussion and changes about what is required for different colleges and universities, right? And the UC is no exception. And different, it has changed over the course of this pandemic, what the requirements are, but they have announced that the UCs will be test optional for fall 2021 and fall 2022 enrollment. What does it mean when a school is test optional? That means that the SATs or the ACTs are not required for admission. It means that, you do not have to submit your scores, especially if you're not satisfied with them. It's because a lot of students were not able to. There were a lot of hardships this year. So that is not, the test scores are not going to be used for, your admission, your application will still receive full consideration, even if you do not submit your test scores. But, what does it say that the SATs and the ACTs may still be used for a couple of things. And you have to remember that the admissions policies are different from campus to campus, right? There are 9 campuses, and what UC Berkeley and UCLA does may not be the same thing as Davis and Irvine and Merced, right? But the SATs and the ACTs can be used for scholarships. It can also be used for the eligibility for the statewide admissions guarantee, right? If you're in the top 9%, and it could be considered one of the determining factors. And it can also be used for placement after you are admitted and they're trying to decide which class are you going to be put into? Like, are you going to be put into an advanced English, or what kind of math, etc., things like that. So it's not like it is not used or not important at all. If you have strong grades, I would recommend still submitting them. Finally, there are the personal insight questions. That is what the University of California calls their essay questions, PIQs, personal insight questions. And there are 8 questions. Each student is required to answer 4 of them. They are 350 words each. And I always say it's a mosaic. You want to take a look at all of the questions, look at all of the ways that you might possibly be able to answer them, and then make a decision. You want to be able, if you have to pick 1 or 2, they are all equal. Students, I've been to UC counselor conferences, and they say that they are submitted with, equal numbers. But if you can, I think that number 1, PIQ number 1, which is about leadership, that's a great one to write about, and also one about your academic interest. That one's a great one for multiple reasons, because it's a great way to get started on, what are you going to college for? A lot of students are not clear, but that's okay. If you have an area of academic interest, it's great. Plus, the bonus is that a lot of times if you're applying to other schools, through the common application, they may ask you, what are you interested in studying? What is your major? And in that case, you can leverage your UC personal insight question for that essay. You might have to do an expanded version, but this way it streamlines things and it'll make things a little bit easier. So there you have it. The deadlines, the tip to find the UC Santa Barbara admissions tutorials. I'm going to leave it on the website, on my Facebook page, so you can capture that link. And then tips about the standardized test policy. And heads up, I mean, they still keep changing the rules. And now there's a discussion about being test blind, which is one level more de-emphasizing the SAT. So this is still very much a fluid process, crazy as it may seem. And last but not least, the personal insight questions. Take a look at the links that I will be posting momentarily. I hope that helps. And I also want to let you know that it is still August, but in January I will be relaunching my College Knowledge webinars, and I encourage you to check those out as well. If you want to get them now, you can see them as downloads. So check my website and access those. Take a look at the webinars tab. That's all for now. I hope that's helpful, and we'll see you next week. Bye.